Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, call Halayim La Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shah Bahasham Rakah HaKodash. And Shalom, Wabarakim, Labakayim Shah Yasha, and double honors to the older apostles of Great Millstone who I learned this truth from. I'm just gonna go into how the men of the Lord, servants of the Lord, prophets of the Lord, whatever you prefer to say, they're not nice. They don't go around handing out free hugs. They don't go around handing out free lollipops, because these Christians and all these other people in these 501c3 charter churches that the government has set up, teaching these plantation doctrines, have the people thinking that men that serve the Lord and teach His word are supposed to be friendly all the time and bring good news and good tidings. But I'm just going to go into a few scriptures where you have prophets that did physical harm to other people, man. And it was seen righteous in the Most High's eyes. Okay? So I'm going to start in 1 Kings chapter 18. And just to give some background, this is dealing with King Ahab. One of the most wicked kings of all time with the northern tribes of Israel, northern kingdom. He was one of the most wicked kingdoms, him and his wife. He was one of the most wicked kings, with him and his wife Jezebel being wicked as all hell. She represents, wicked women. But, I'm just going to go into Elijah, bringing judgment on Ahab. Okay? This is 1 Kings chapter 18, verse 1. And it came to pass after many days that the word of the Lord came to Elijah in the 3rd year, saying, Go show thyself unto Ahab, and I will send rain upon the earth. And Elijah went to show himself upon Ahab, and there was a sore famine in Samaria. And Ahab called Obadiah, which was the governor of his house. Now Obadiah feared the Lord greatly. For it was so, when Jezebel cut off the prophets of the Lord, that Obadiah took 100 prophets and hid them by 50 in a cave and fed them with bread and water. So even though Obadiah served King Ahab and his wife Jezebel, he looked out for the prophets of the Lord because they were persecuting the prophets of the Lord. Why? Because he feared the one and true power, Yahweh. Verse 5. And Ahab said unto Obadiah, Go into the land unto all fountains of water and unto all brooks. Peradventure we may find grass to save the horses and mules alive, that we lose not all the beasts. So they divided the land between them to pass throughout it. Ahab went one way by himself, and Obadiah went another way by himself. And as Obadiah was in the way, as Obadiah was in the way, behold, Elijah met him. And he knew him, and fell on his face, and said, Art thou that my lord Elijah? And he answered him, I am. Go tell thy lord, behold, Elijah is here. Which proves you have lords on this earth also, man. You have minor lords, You have Yahweh, you have Yahweh Shah. You have King David, you have the 12 apostles. You have the rest of the 144 prophets, man, that are over the rest of Israel. Okay. Now it says, he says, in verse 8, and he answered him, I am. Go tell thy Lord, behold, Elijah is here. So Elijah basically told Obadiah to go tell your king Ahab that I'm here. Because they were searching for Elijah, right? In verse 9, he said, What have I sinned that thou wouldest deliver thy servant into the hand of Ahab to slay me? So Obadiah was like, why would you, I fear the Lord, and if I go tell, King Ahab that you are here and I haven't, and you're not dead and I haven't done anything to kill you or come against you, he's going to kill me, Verse 10, As the Lord thy God liveth, there is no nation or kingdom whither my Lord have not sent to seek thee. And when they said he is not there, he took an oath. He took an oath of the kingdom and nation that they found thee not. And now thou sayest, Go tell thy Lord, behold, Elijah is here. And it shall come to pass, as soon as I am going from thee, that the Spirit of the Lord should carry thee whither I know not. And so when I come and tell Ahab, and he cannot find thee, he shall slay me. But I, thy servant, fear the Lord from my youth. So he was scared, because they were trying to kill Elijah, man, take Elijah out the way, basically, get rid of Elijah, you know. Verse 13. You know, and Ahab was fucking wicked anyways, because, you know, they were, you know, perverting the altar. You know, they were worshiping Balaam, you know, false gods, you know. Northern Kingdom, that's why Northern Kingdom got put in the Syrian captivity and dispersed, you know. And it says, and that, verse 15, and Elijah said, as the Lord of the host liveth, before whom I stand, I will surely show myself unto him today. So Obadiah went to meet Ahab and told him, and Ahab went to meet Elijah. And it came to pass when Ahab saw Elijah, and Ahab said unto him, art thou he that troubleth Israel? And he answered, I have not troubled Israel, but thou and thy father's house, and that ye have forsaken the commandments of the Lord, and thou hast followed Balaam. Now therefore send and gather to me all Israel unto Mount Carmel, and the prophets of Baal 450, and the prophets of the groves 400, which eat at Jezebel's table. You know, now I'm gonna drop down a little bit. Basically, he goes and gets, you know, the amount of men that basically been worshiping Baal that he called Ahab to get, and Ahab's gonna bring them. And this is what he's gonna tell him. Let them therefore give us 2 bullocks, and let them choose 1 bullock for themselves, and cut it in pieces, and lay it on wood, and put no fire under. And I will dress the other bullock, and lay it on wood, and put no fire under. So basically, he was basically trying to get those men that worship Balaam of Israel under King Ahab's rule to prove whose God was true. You know, was it the true power of Israel, Yahweh, or was it your false God, Balaam? And he basically said, put your bullock, you know, put your bullock on the wood, but don't put no fire under, you know. Pray to your power to light it on fire. And whoever God lights it on fire, that's who God is true, you know. So this is what took place after they prayed, after those wicked men of Israel prayed, and nothing happened. Verse 26, dropping down to verse 26. And they took the bullock which was given them, and they dressed it, and called on the name of Baal from morning even unto noon, saying, O Baal, hear us. But there was no voice, nor any that answered. And they leaped upon the altar which was made. And it came to pass at noon that Elijah mocked them and said, cry aloud, for he is a God. Either he is talking, or he is pursuing, or he is in a journey, or peradventure he sleepeth and must be awake. So Elijah's a man of the Lord. He's mocking these damn wicked niggas, man. He said, hey, your God must be out on a journey, or he must be sleeping. Because you know, ain't no fire came under that bullock, man. You know? And you prayed to your God and nothing happened. So what's going on? He's basically mocking them. But you people today will say a prophet ain't supposed to mock, man. Prophet's supposed to lift up all the time. That's what you people say. That's against the scriptures. Verse 28. And they cried aloud and cut themselves after their manner with knives and lancets till the blood gushed out upon them. Now did Elijah stop them from cutting their ass up? They committed suicide. But did Elijah stop them from doing that? No. Because they were fucking wicked and they got judgment, man. Elijah is a prophet of the Lord, a man of the Lord, a man that we should strive to be like, man. You know? Verse 29. And it came to pass when midday was past, and they prophesied unto the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice, that there was neither voice nor any to answer, nor any that regarded. Let me see. I'm going to drop down to when Elijah did work on them niggas too, you know. Yeah, so this was after they did a burnt sacrifice by the Lord's power, Yahweh Shem Yahushua power, you know, after he prayed to the true power and his sacrifice was lit with fire. This verse 40. And Elijah said unto them, take the prophets of Baal, let not one of them escape. And they took them, and Elijah brought them down to the brook Kishon and slew them there. So Elijah slew men. He killed them. He killed the men that worship Baal, you know. So I'm just getting a few scriptures to show that the men of the Lord are not nice men. They don't, you know what I'm saying? They're not men that you should be happy to see when they come into your town, because more than likely they're bringing bad news, man, and judgment. Okay. Let me go to Nehemiah chapter 13, verse 10. Nehemiah 13 and 10. I'm gonna start at verse 10. And I perceive that the portions of the Levites had not been given them, for the Levites and the singers that did the work were fled everyone to his field. Then contended I with the rulers and said, why is the house of the Most High forsaken? And I gathered them together and set them in their place. Basically what Nehemiah was seeing was Israel was out of course, man. They was dealing with the heathens. They were going off amongst the heathens, dwelling with the heathens, going off with them. So, and it vexed them, Verse 12. Then brought all Judah the tithe of the corn and the new wine and the oil into the treasuries. And I made treasurers over the treasuries Shelemiah the priest and Zadok the scribe, and of the Levites Pedaiah, and next to them was Hanan the son of Zakur, the son of Mattaniah, for they were counted faithful, and their office was to distribute unto their brethren. Remember me, O God, concerning this, and wipe not out my good deeds that I have done for the house of my God, and for the offices thereof. In those days saw I in Judah some treading wine presses on the Sabbath, and bringing in sheaves and lading asses, as also wine grapes and figs, and all manner of burdens, which they brought into Jerusalem on the Sabbath day. And I testified against them in the day wherein they sold victuals, because they were doing work on the Sabbath, man. And then the law clearly says there should be no work on the Sabbath day. Even though now we're in the mercy, I'm just giving examples. Even though this is in the Old Testament, even there's nothing new under the sun. So the men of the Lord that you're seeing on the highways and byways today, they're gonna get to work on people today too, man. That's why I'm bringing this out. But I'm gonna continue and get to the point. I'm gonna draw down to verse 17. Then I contended with the nobles of Judah and said unto them, what evil thing is this that ye do and profane the Sabbath day? So they were working on the Sabbath day, doing all type of shit with the heathens on the Saturday, joining themselves with the heathens, and they couldn't even speak their own Hebrew language. And I'm going to draw down to verse 23. In those days also saw I Jews that had married wives of Ashdod, of Ammon, and of Moab, and their children spake half in the speech of Ashdod, and could not speak in the Jews' language, but according to the language of each people. And this is what really got them mad. Verse 25. And I contended with them, and cursed them, and smote certain of them, and plucked off their hair, and made them swear by the Most High, saying, ye shall not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take their daughters unto your sons, or for yourselves. So he fought people of his own nation. He smote them, cursed them, plucked off their hair. You know how hard it is to pull out woolly hair, man? And that's a prophet of the Lord. That's a man of the Lord. That's a man that's going to be in high stature in the kingdom of heaven. Him and Elijah. Did they go off by killing men and beating up men of their own nation for going off? No. Not at all. Let me go to 1 Samuel chapter 15. 1 Samuel chapter 15. And this 1 Samuel chapter 15, I'll start at verse 1. Samuel also said unto Saul, the Lord sent me to anoint thee to be king over his people, over Israel. Now therefore hearken thou unto the voice of the words of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I remember that which Amalek did to Israel. Now he laid wait for him in the way when he came up from Egypt. Now go and smite Amalek, and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass. So the prophet Samuel told Saul to slay all of the Amalek that was there, even the infants and the sucklings, even the little babies. Kill them, get them out. The Lord said don't spare none of them. But when you read down, you'll see that Saul, matter of fact, let me read in verse 8. And he took Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive and utterly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword. So he took Agag, kept Agag alive, basically to show, look, I captured their king. But the Lord didn't say spare the king. He said kill all of them. You know, but he was trying to be a show off. You know, so this is what came upon Saul in the spirit in verse 10. Then came the word of the Lord unto Saul, saying, It repenteth me that I have set up Saul to be king, for he has turned back from following me, and have not performed my commandments. And it grieved Samuel, and he cried unto the Lord all night. And when Samuel rose early to meet Saul in the morning, it was told Samuel, saying, Saul, come to Carmel. And behold, he set him up a place, and is going about, and passed on, and going down to Gilgal. And Samuel came to Saul, and Saul said unto him, Blessed be thou of the Lord. I have performed the commandment of the Lord. And Samuel said, What meaneth then this bleating of the sheep in mine ears, and the lowing of the oxen which I hear? And Saul said, They have brought them from the Amalekites, for the people spared the best of the sheep and of the oxen to sacrifice unto the Lord thy power, and the rest we have utterly destroyed. Then Samuel said unto Saul, Stay, and I will tell thee what the Lord hath said to me this night. And he said unto him, Say on. And Samuel said, When thou wast little in thine own sight, wast thou not made the head of the tribes of Israel? And the Lord anointed thee king over Israel? And the Lord sent thee on a journey, and said, Go and utterly destroy the sinners, the Amalekites, and fight against them until they be consumed. Wherefore then didst thou not obey the voice of the Lord, but didst fly upon the spoil, and didst evil in the sight of the Lord? And Saul said unto Samuel, Yea, I have obeyed the voice of the Lord, and I have gone the way which the Lord sent me, and have brought Agag, the king of Amalek, and have utterly destroyed the Amalekites. You know, so Samuel's basically told him, the Lord put you in that position to be king. You're supposed to do whatever he told you to do, not halfway do it, not do something that fits your fleshly desires, your fleshly lusts, you know. So basically he goes on to rebuke Saul and let him know you disobey the Lord and you transgress, man, and now you're in bad terms with the Lord. So this is what I'm gonna drop down to what Samuel did. This is verse 31 in 1 Samuel chapter 15. So Samuel turned again after Saul, and Saul worshipped the Lord. Then said Samuel, Bring ye hither to me Agag, the king of the Amalekites. And Agag came unto him delicately. And Agag said, Surely the bitterness of death is past. And Samuel said, As thy sword hath made women childless, so shall thy mother be childless among women. And Samuel hewed Agag in pieces before the Lord in Gilgal. Before the Lord. He did a righteous deed by killing his ass, man. So that's basically the point I'm trying to bring out. Is the prophets of the Lord are not nice men. They're not here to, you know, bring good news. And even though we preach the gospel, which is good news, the kingdom of heaven is for you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the true Hebrew Israelites through your father's lineage. The kingdom is for you, beginning with the elect. That's the good news. But with that comes judgment and the hell that you have to go through to inherit the kingdom, man. So I'm going to get one last scripture to prove that in this day and time, because there's nothing new under the sun, like the scriptures say, the prophets are going to kill people again, man. when it's that time. This is Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 16. And it reads, Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. You know, we're fishing men, you know. Just like Peter and the past, some of the past disciples, they were fishermen, you know. But what were they? They were made fishermen of men, you know. We go out and bid men to the marriage on the highways and byways by teaching His truth, shouting His truth at the top of our lungs. And it says, And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rocks. So these fishermen are going to be turned into hunters, you know. And they're going to be killing people, man, that didn't want to hearken to the word of the Lord, you know. And when you go on to read on further, it tells you that, man. But that's the point. I just want to bring out a few scriptures to prove that the prophets are not nice men, man. They have never been nice men, you know. And even, hey, matter of fact, even in the New Testament, it tells you that Peter, when Ananias and Sapphira kept back the possessions from the Lord, acting like they gave the Lord all they had, hey, Peter put their ass to death spiritually, man, and physically. Hey, look, this is Acts chapter 5, verse 1. But a certain man named, because people will say, well, that's the Old Testament. Well, here's the New Testament. You know, you Christians love Peter. But a certain man named Ananias with Sapphira, his wife, sold a possession and kept back part of the price. His wife also being privy to it, and brought a certain part and laid it at the apostles' feet, so they were being sneaky. You don't do that at the Lord's house, man. Verse 3, but Peter said, Ananias, why have Satan filled thine heart to lie to the Holy Spirit, and to keep back part of the price of the land? Whiles it remained, was it not thine own? And after it was sold, was it not in thine own power? Why hast thou conceived this thing in thine heart? Thou hast not lied unto men, but unto the Most High. And Ananias, hearing these words, fell down and gave up the ghost, and great fear came on all them that heard these things. So he died right in front of Peter. Peter rebuked him, and he died right in front of Peter, man. And people might say, well, that's probably because, you know, he was so grieved with his actions. Well, let's find out what happened to his wife when Peter went to his wife, man. Let me see. Yeah, verse 6. And the young men arose, wound him up, and carried him out and buried him. And it was about the space of 3 hours after, when his wife, not knowing what was done, came in. And Peter answered unto her, Tell me whether ye sold the land for so much. And she said, Yea, for so much. Then Peter said unto her, How is it that ye have agreed together to tempt the Spirit of the Lord? Behold, the feet of them which have buried thy husband are at the door, and shall carry thee out. So here's Peter giving her judgment. Look, you about to die right along with your wicked ass husband, man. Hey, is Peter a man of the Lord? Is Peter a disciple, an apostle? Of course. He's second in command. He was given the keys of the kingdom of heaven. He was put in charge, made the rock of the body by Yahushua himself. And he reads on, verse 10. Then she fell straightway at his feet and yielded up the ghost. And the young men came in and found her dead, and carrying her forth, buried her by her husband. And great fear came upon all the church, and upon as many as heard these things. So it's not all about love. It's not all about hugs and kisses. It's about instilling fear, order, and judgment, man. That's what the prophets and the men of the Lord do, man. You know, with that, I hope the elect was edified wherever they are, whoever sees this. And with that, shalom.